Where's the fucking link? Where's the link? Where's the fucking link? Is this the link? There's no way. What the fuck is this? This isn't a link. Okay, there we go. Fucking found it.
And it's a video that we can watch now with it's a link to one. And it's a video from a company, no, not that one, no, not that video. We're gonna go to, Dan, the third one down. And this is, yeah, clear case, that was it, the clear case one, that was perfect, you had it. And this is a system from a company called IBIS, or actually the system is called IBIS, the company is Forensic Technology, they're based in Montreal. And this is the industry standard. This is the hotsy-totsy setup. And this is what you want.
Oh, wait,
you're going to
see. What?
You're going to see. Watch. So what they do here is they capture images of the brass shell casings. They pick up the brass shell casing with the thing. So let's go back. Let's watch. This is really important because if we're not doing this, a thing.
Okay. So this is an evidence collection system that they press this little device onto the bullet and it preserves it somehow. Do you want to listen to this?
What? Pick it up. Yeah. He's going to pick up the bullet with the thing to preserve everything. Right? What? This is amazing. This is genius.
Very difficult to find. Super compressed. Like, we're looking at it here.
Alive for this kid. Is this kid alive?
Exactly.
And Gene's offering $1,000 to anybody like his sister that says, yeah, he's sitting right here with me. Hi, let me get you on the Zoom call. Hi, Max. Say hi, Max. Hi.
Right.
Why can't you do that for $1,000?
And counter the trolls and get paid? Who wouldn't do that?
Well, the other thing is, if you remember, they leaked those photos at the Vegas shooting, right? So we get the photo of Stephen Paddock with the blood coming out of his mouth, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so the photo that we've all been working off of for the last 12 days or whatever is a leaked photo, right? That's not
exactly
right. So that was an official photo. That's a leaked photo. How did we get that so fast?
Exactly.
Who leaked this? Where did that photo come from that was leaked that fast? And then that a whole bunch of people said, oh, well, that's Max Urich. It's like, how did all you guys figure that out so fast?
Fuck is it?
He had his camera looking up his nose.
Signed by Felix Sater and maybe other people that we haven't seen. Pretty interesting stuff.
Can you go back up to that guy for a second with the no shirt on? Let me see. I want to take a peek at it. If anybody can show proof of life for this kid, is this kid alive?
Exactly.
Shooting, right? So we get the photo of Stephen Paddock with the blood coming out of his mouth, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so the photo that we've all been working off of for the last 12 days or whatever is a leaked photo, right? That's not...
What? There we go.
Exactly.
Right? So that wasn't an official photo. That's a leaked photo. How did we get that so fast?
Exactly.
Who leaked this? Where did that photo come from that was leaked that fast? And then that a whole bunch of people said, oh, well, that's Max Urich. It's like, how the hell did all you guys figure that out so fast? And if you know it's him, well, where is he?
I can tell you how I figured it out, because when Roger Stone said Max Urich, I Googled Max Urich and saw him, and immediately I said, oh yeah, that's him. And like, how did that come together so quickly? I mean, I don't know, that's just it, leaked.
No. In other words,
Planted.
if you knew, if this was Steadicam Dave,
Yeah.
you'd be like, dude,
That's exactly.
Steadicam Dave. What are you talking about? That's Steadicam Dave. So who was it that looked at the leaked photo and said, oh, that's Max Urich? Well, it wasn't Roger Stone. Roger Stone's not hanging out with Max Urich.
but
He's repeating something he's hearing, right?
Somebody sent it to him, right? There's a lot of people, maybe even the SWAT operators. Here's the wrinkle on this. So what they've told us is obviously this is taken by some law enforcement person who's on the roof. The guy's right there. So they tell us that the guy in the gray suit went up there and told local law enforcement, which I believe is that Beaver County ESU SWAT team that's run by Detective Patrick Young. One of his operators, I have no evidence that it's Patrick Young himself, but one of his SWAT operators is on the roof, take this picture, and is given a phone number, according to Ron Johnson, of a Philadelphia ATF agent, and says, send your phone picture to this Philadelphia ATF person. And I think that's this. Now, the other thing that's interesting about this is, whether the guy has an iPhone or an Android, or even if his iPhone is from 2016 or whatever, this is not a standard aspect ratio photo. Like, the resolution of this original photo is like 700 and something by 501. So this didn't just come out of a phone and get onto the internet. Additionally, it's been super compressed. Like, we're looking at it here on Twitter, which is a certain way of presenting photos and magnifying photos. But when you bring this into Photoshop, this is not just straight out of the phone. And again, I last week was talking about how it looks to me like someone took a very high-res 4K or whatever photo, replaced top part of this ear, and it might have been just even like from right here around a natural line like this, and just this back part to get these details from that kid in high school who has this very distinctive nonsense on his ear, and combine it with this part of the ear, the lower part, the ear
I don't know.
where Max Urich has apparently had surgery to close up an almost torn earlobe because he had those big gauges in his ear. He has earrings that are like, big plugs in his ear. So this looks like surgery to close that up. People say, no, that's blood. It's tough to say, but to me it looks like they've combined the distinctive elements of two different suspects into one photo, specifically to confuse what they know is going to happen. This open source intelligence community, maybe it started in 1963, but this, John, and with the work that you're doing, that I'm doing, and that everybody, even people that we don't like or don't agree with, it's the most sophisticated and robust open source investigation ever.
No doubt. And it seems as if even Democrats in Congress, I heard Jerry Nadler say, look, I don't like the guy, I disagree with him, but you can't kill him. It's like, that's not okay. It's like, I don't like him one bit. I disagree with him for the last 8 years, but you can't kill him. And, to hear even Jerry Nadler take a stand, imagine that. That's quite a thing.
I think a lot of people in Congress are scared for their safety. If they think you can just shoot political figures, they're worried about themselves.
No doubt. And that's what I kept hearing, in fact, from the people in Congress, is we don't feel safe now. It's like, oh, so now that it affects you, now you're going to weigh in. It's like, we don't feel safe. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
and remember the January 6th.
They're trying to shut
Yeah, well,
down
that's
guns
it.
with that language.
Right. They're going to turn. That's what they're going to turn this into. The Democrats will, for sure. This aspect of this, again, it's too suspicious. Your point about the aspect ratio. This photo was cropped. Why would you crop the photo? Does he? If he had a second gunshot wound, and they're telling us that two different snipers took shots, but they're telling you one of the snipers missed. Who missed? What are they doing? Who missed? Which sniper missed? Who took a shot and missed? And where did the bullet go that missed? So that's nonsense. They are lying and forging evidence. We're used to it. We've seen it before.
Oh,
so this
man,
is not.
I just realized something, John. Damn it, this
What is
video is going to get dinged because showing that picture pisses off YouTube. But it's a good opportunity to remind people that this kind of thing is why it's important for people to sponsor us. People can sponsor John on
Sponsor me,
subscribestar.com/IamJohnCullen or patreon.com/IamJohnCullen. Is with us on YouTube, John, saying he saw the video of the bike owner. And that's the thing. Why did they release that video of that random guy who happened to get interviewed by some podcaster? It's like they're laying out evidence for us to pick up, right?
Well, and to me, the evidence they lay out for you to pick up is the stuff that's irrelevant, right? So the stuff that they're going to share with you is the stuff that has very little meaning. And so if they let that guy go and their thinking was, this is just a homeless guy with a bike, this is not a bomber, and they let him go, well, that'll be what they let you see. So that now there's, who's this guy? What was the story with the bike? And now there'll be a whole bunch of people who are going to spend 3 months talking about the bicycle. And that's what they want. That's exactly what they want. So we've seen these techniques before. You have been helping people understand the techniques on the Web of Deception series and helping people understand these social engineering mechanisms, the tactics that these guys use. And when I see a leaked photo like this early, as you pointed out, the aspect ratio is not standard coming out of the camera. It appears that there's some compression. There's all kinds of monkey business going on. Something's up with the photo. Yeah. So, we kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. And the issue is, where is Max Urich? And if Gene's offering $1,000 for him just to show up on a thing for 5 minutes, I'd do that in a heartbeat if Gene was going to be $1,000.
I keep trying to call his. Well, I don't want to. No one should bother these people, but these people are not answering. This is Gene. He's giving out his own phone number voluntarily, so if you want to call him with tips and leads and stuff, I think that might be a mistake for him to do because trolls will start bothering him. But people should also follow John if you're just joining us on Twitter. There's been a really really good focus of new information coming out every day on X. So follow us there. But John, we're burying the lead here. You've been auditing what is going out with the acoustic research. Tell us what you're doing here.
So, looking at some of the work that we were doing in the first couple of days. So, in one of the first shows we did, I think it was that Sunday night maybe, we went to the AI. We went to perplexity.ai, and we asked Perplexity if you were downrange from a AR-15 fired at 2,500 feet per second, what would the crack thump be if you were downrange, right? And so we did all those calculations, and we said if the crack thump was 0.22 seconds downrange, and the bullet's traveling at 2,500 feet per second, what would the distance be to the shooter? And then one of our viewers named Doomor, in fact one of the patrons, said, dude, the AI is wrong. The AI is miscalculating this. Tell the AI it's wrong. We told the AI it was wrong, and the AI said, oh, you're right, I'm sorry.
It's polite.
I apologized. Yeah, it apologized and recalculated everything. It was pretty funny. Well, what those so let's review. So the first 3 shots were 0.22 seconds, and that's in the chart, the graphs that Mike Adams and everybody's using. It's 0.22 seconds, and that's the crack thump. The crack thump, it's in the thumbnail image. So the crack thump with the audio stuff, right, was the 0.22 seconds. And we then calculated, well, if it was 0.22 seconds crack thump, what kind of distance are we talking about? And that's where the AI went bonkers on us and told it was like 65 yards or 68 yards or something like that. And then we said to the AI, no, you dummy, you're wrong. Recalculate. And it recalculated, and it came back with 138 yards. And I think most people remember that 138 yards was the measurement. You guys
Did you
remember
feel
that?
that was correct after the
Yeah,
initial
yeah.
mistake
And if
was
you want,
revealed?
yeah, and you can ask Perplexity now, and you can kind of you can lead the witness. You can say, standing downrange from an AR-15 fired at 2,500 feet per second, witnessing a crack thump of 0.22 seconds, would that place us 138 yards downrange, or are my calculations incorrect? So you offer the correct answer, and then ask it to check your work, so to speak. And this will, I think, prevent some of these false answers. So,
Wow.
all right. So now the notion is we're downrange, and we're witnessing.
Should I type
Ask
it in?
it if yeah, you can, yeah, why not? Say downrange from an AR-15 firing a 2,500 foot per second round, witnessing a crack thump of 0.22 seconds, would that place us approximately 138 yards downrange? Let's see what it says. Now, maybe 2,800 feet per second.
How
Makes
far
a different
downrange? Feet?
138 yards
Is traveled by the.
from an AR shooter, right?
Uh-huh.
So let's do that. It's not the guy on the roof. So it appears that maybe Chris Martenson is mistaken and thought it was almost the same, but it's
Well,
not.
Didn't we surmise this kind of pretty early on that it's just from a hiding who's shooting standpoint? This makes a lot of sense, having somebody in the building shooting the president while the sniper fire is drawn to some moron on the roof.
And the fact that all the attention this week has been on a different window. You've got all the congressmen
Right.
looking out of another window, filming from another window.
They're talking
The
about
guy
this window
this
here,
window.
behind him, right?
Or off to the left
This
one, even
This one.
right, right.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's where they're drawing everybody's attention, just
Right.
like Las Vegas. They don't want you to look at the real windows. The real window is the one right below him because it yields the same ballistic trajectory, except
Right.
it's a rising shot. Now, here's what we'll leave everybody. We got to go to the patron-only portion of the show. If a shot is taken from that window towards President Trump, his head, his ear, he's 6'3", so his ear is at 6 feet off of the stage. The stage is 4 feet off the ground, so his ear is at about 10 feet.
Right.
The riser is at 12 feet at the
What
railing.
riser?
There's an image in there. One of the images, I think the first image is an image.
Let's get into all these details on
the
the
bleachers,
sponsor.
the bleachers,
Yeah.
the bleachers.
Okay, got
The
it.
bleacher, the rail of the bleachers, 12 feet. So if the rail of the bleachers 12 feet and the president's at 10,
When it
the
hits
shot
this
has to
guy,
come
right, going
right. It has to come from below 10 feet to go up to 10 and then to 12.
Oh,
It had to be. It can't
you're
be from the
saying
roof.
this over here. It's
Is 12
wow.
feet. The president's ear is 10. The shot can't be taken from the roof if it hits the president's
that would be
ear in the
going
railing.
down, right? Wow.
Yippee-ki-yay! You
Ooh.
guys better become patrons, boy, or you're gonna miss the whole
That is some
story.
pretty compelling evidence.
Oh, wait. Go back. What the fuck? I mean, dude, look at that. Wow.
yards.
To this window right here. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we're going to leave you before we go off to the patron-only exclusive portion of the show, where we will break this down further. But the idea is the crack thump does not indicate that the shots came from the shooter on the roof. It appears to indicate it came from this window, more than that, right? So if I measure to the shooter right now, here's my ruler. I click on POTUS at the podium, and I go click on the shooter. It's 141 meters. 140 meters. And you just converted, one more time, convert 140 meters to yards. How many yards is that?
153 yards.
How's 153 the same as 138?
Wait, what are you saying now? Hold on, can I go back to that? Wait, let me...
It's more.
It's not.
Wait. Wait, what'd you say about this? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yeah, obviously he could go right here. Yeah, you can see everything. Why wouldn't you go here? This is like the best spot. Obviously you would go here. It's almost like this whole entire area was chosen on purpose. It's almost like they chose this area specifically. It's so perfect. Yeah. Right. It would never be able to be seen right there. It has perfect line of view. I want to see what they're saying here at the end.
Gentlemen, to the POTUS, President was standing. Is where we're going to leave you before we go off to the patron one. How many are you? A folder or a picture in the folder. So all the stuff I sent you, there's a picture in there with the twin, and it's the twin. We're folk may be coming from the guy on the roof, may also be coming from a shooter directly below the guy on the roof.
Yeah.
And according to the thumps that we're hearing, it's not the guy on the roof. So it appears that maybe Chris Martenson is mistaken and thought it was almost the same, but it's not.
Didn't we surmise this kind of pretty early on that it's just from a hiding who's shooting standpoint? This makes a lot of sense, having somebody in the building shooting the president while the sniper fire is drawn to some moron on the roof.
And the fact that all the attention this week has been on a different window. You've got all the congressmen looking out of another window, filming from another window.
They're talking about this window here, behind him, right?
Or off to the left one, even one. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's what the real the patron-only portion of the show. If it stay in images that is an image. There's an image in there. One of the images, I think the first image is an image.
Let's get into all these details on
the bleachers. The bleachers.
Okay, got it.
The rail of the bleacher is 12 feet.
I just want to see.
So if the rail of the bleacher is 12 feet and the president's at 10, the shot has to come
going
right.
Right, that's what I was thinking. It either it's going up, either the shot goes on an upward angle. That's what I originally thought. It had to be going upward angle. But the roof is how high?
It has to come from below 10 feet to go up to 10 and then to 12. It had to be. It can't be from the roof.
This over here. It's
that's a really good point that no one just. That's like the simplest fucking explanation in the world. The roof. Right, we would have to know the exact height of the bleachers, but the bleachers must be higher than the where Trump is standing, right?
Is 12 feet. The president's ear is 10. The shot can't be taken from the roof if it hits the president's
that would be
ear in the
going
railing.
down, right? Wow.
Yippee-ki-yay! You guys better become patrons, boy, or you're gonna miss all
That
the
is some
story.
pretty compelling evidence. All right, well, listen, everybody. We'll be back in just a minute here. We're going to get reset on the patron, the sponsor exclusive segment.
Yeah, but the thing is, you want to watch the here? Let's. Are you still here? Here, we're gonna watch this. We're gonna watch. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, here it is. Later, dog.
Because he said that when they spotted him, that they left to go look for him, and that's why the roof wasn't covered.
No, that's not true. They stayed where they were. They could not see where he was located when he was on the roof. Their vantage point was they would literally had to have been leaning out the window looking over to where he was located. But they were still where they were supposed to be. And they couldn't find him. He had walked around the building and they had called it in. So they didn't leave their posts. I don't know why he said that, but
I mean, that was a pretty serious thing to say
yes.
to Congress.
Well, yeah, it was. And I'm not saying he wasn't telling it. I mean, maybe he was told that and that's what he believes happened, but that's not what happened. They did not leave. They just couldn't see where he was from where they were. The vantage point did not permit them to see where he was shooting from.
Okay, that's interesting.
Good. I'm calling, I don't know if you've heard about this, but I believe yesterday, Senator Ron Johnson released a report on the preliminary findings of an investigation conducted by his office, in which he states that members of the SWAT team from Beaver County, which I believe is under your leadership, were on the roof at American Glass Research and photographed the dead suspect. And according to this report, the SWAT operators were instructed by an unknown individual in a gray suit to send the photographs to an ATF agent with a Philadelphia cell phone number. And I was calling, first of all, to ask if you can confirm the statements
I
made.
want the full interview of that shit.
How dumb Kamala is, and
Citizens' investigation into Trump's assassination attempt continues. The citizens' investigation into Trump's assassination attempt continues. Today, we are going to cover all of the audio analysis and evidence that points to the idea that there were 2 shooters in addition to a Secret Service sniper and an emergency services gun. 4 weapons fired that day. We have the evidence and we're going to bring it to you. Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Chris Martinson, leading the citizens' investigation into the Trump shooting. And we have to cover some really astonishing evidence here today. And let's start with this. Okay, we're going to go through a quick timeline just so we're all oriented, and then we're going to go through it.
Before we get back to that hearing, I do have a related story to bring to you. Take a look at this. This is for the first time right now. We are seeing the father of a Trump shooter snapping back at the media. This was a video that was located just yesterday by Fox News Digital. For the first time, Thomas Matthew Crook's father was spotted in public since the 20-year-old gunman opened fire at former President Donald Trump's rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, according to a local business employee and a neighbor who identified him in that picture. So let's play it out for you in full right here on Live Now from Fox.
Why would your son want to kill the president? Back off! No comment. No comment!
Were there any warning signs, Matthew?
How's Mary holding up? No comment.
Audio analysis of the shots. I've been just digging in. I've been eating like an animal, hardly sleeping. I've got many hours just in the past 2 days into this particular analysis. This cements it for me. Let me know what you think. Here's the timeline as we have it. At 5:06, video shows Crooks walking around what is called Building 6. That's the AGR, American Glass Research Company. That's what they call it. So we might as well too. Let's stop calling things different things. Building 6, that is the one that Crooks died on. At 5:14, a Beaver County Emergency Services Unit agent, hereby we'll call them ESU agents, snapped 2 pictures, and we believe his name is Greg now because of a video that came out just yesterday that showed a bunch of a helmet cam view from the roof. So ESU agent Greg, we think, snapped 2 pictures of Thomas Crooks from the 2nd floor of the building that overlooked Building 6, where he was. Then allegedly shared this photo with law enforcement. According to articles, we don't know what that means.
Testified,
I
yes.
guess that means maybe Pennsylvania State Police, because Secret Service is notified by Pennsylvania State Police at 5:51 of a suspicious person with a rangefinder on the ground. And later we see a rangefinder pulled out of the pocket of Crooks, or whoever that is, dead on the roof. Pretty sure it's Crooks, though. At 5:52, Secret Service shares this information with a counter sniper team, or teams, I don't know what, but the way the article's written says counter sniper team, and response agents on the ground. I don't know what a response agent is in this context. That's how the article put it. But that means that at 5:52, Secret Service is in possession of information that says, hey, we got a suspicious person. And it's a full 11 minutes later that Donald J. Trump takes the stage. So that's a little dodgy already, because why not hold him off for a few more minutes while you resolve the suspicious person thing? And by the way, the timing couldn't be more awkward, because at 6:09, we have people on the ground spotting Crooks on the roof of Building 6 with a rifle, and begin very excitedly alerting police officers on the ground to this fact. From 6:09 to 6:11:33, that's 2.5 interminable minutes. Police are walking around the base of the building. They know that there's an unknown male on the roof with a gun, with a rifle. People are being clear about this, right? You've heard all the things. He's got a gun. People are yelling this out. It is unknown what the ESU are doing at this point on the second floor from their Overwatch spot, but I'm going to show you some data that suggests this is really an awkward story for them. We're going to need answers right away. But eyewitness Greg Smith claimed that they were looking right at the shooter. He's like, yeah, they were there. I was looking at them. They were looking at him on the roof. So this really needs to be chased down. We really need to understand this. Greg Smith, please. Got a fly in here. Greg Smith, please. Just be as careful as you can, and if you have any video you've shot, please upload it to the cloud, share it with as many friends as you can. Anybody who's got evidence, data, do not let your phone into official law enforcement hands so they can look for evidence on it that you might have accidentally captured as you were shooting that day without first downloading that and securing that same information, okay? Be helpful, but also be cautious. And it was at 6:11:33 that the first shots ring out, okay? These are the audio sources that we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're analyzing all of them, and we can tell a lot from one is very important, obviously, that's Trump's mic. It's right there on the podium with him. If anybody knows the make and model of that mic, very appreciated. I have some requests at the back end of this for more information, and people, thank you so much. So many people have been flooding in. It's been absolutely wonderful. Right now, though, what we really need is we need data. We don't need more conclusions or hypotheses about what might happen, how to put the data together yet. We're still at the data stage, so please, if we have more data, that would be helpful, particularly audio data, pictures, videos, any of that. So number one is Trump's mic. Number two is a video that's between Trump and the shooters, whoever they were, back at the building complex there. Number three is this route video, which I'm calling it because that came to me from the route. You can see the Twitter address down there. And that one's past Trump. So we have 3 mics in a line, gives us a lot of information, although number 3 is a little off to the side too, but it's past Trump. 4 and 5, however, these are super important. These are taken from the side of the building, okay? And this is the side of the building where the Crooks was on. And these are where shots rang out. And they give us a very clear sense of some very important things. So I'm so glad to have those. This is what it looks like on a map. This is Trump's mic right here on the podium. Here's number 2. I had moved it back to here. I'm moving it back to here today because I made another assessment of that video. There's actually a fence line right here, and so this perfectly aligns. So this is spot 2. Obviously, this is where Crooks was found on the roof of Building 6. Here is the 2-story Overwatch building. Recordings 4 and 5 are off to the side of this building. Very important recordings. If anybody has more from that area, stupid important. If you can get them to us, we can do a lot with it. And then this is the route video out here past Trump again, but just off to the side a little bit. So here's the shots. Let's just make sure we're all absolutely clear about this. If we say this first bullet, so everything here is just keyed off of Trump's mic at the moment. The moment that first bullet nicks his ear, it makes a snicking, a supersonic snick right on the audio. That's our T equals 0 in this whole thing. We're starting there because we're going to orient everything from Trump's mic, which is a fabulous piece of evidence. It's fixed in space. It's not wobbling around. It's it's right in the center of the action. We can tell a lot. From it, and we have much more to analyze as we go forward, but for now, we say here that We start this at t equals 0 first snick. The next shot was 0.85 seconds later. After that, 1.5 seconds after the first shot, so that's just not giving the time between shots, but just is just a running ordering of time. And then there's a little bit of a break, and then there's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And by the way, we're missing this snick on the tape from Trump's mic. I'm going to explain why. I'm pretty sure comparator, oh, I misspelled that. It's comparator with an A where that E is. Comparator is going to, I think, his head actually prevented that bullet from traveling to the microphone where we could hear it. And then we have the 7th, 8th shot, and then we have a 9th shot here, which we hear clearly on all the tapes from the citizens who are there at spots 1, 4, and 5. So they all pick it up. It's a very clear shot. I'm going to play it for you so you hear it. It's picked up on all the sources 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's even out there on Root's video, but we can't hear it on Trump's mic. I'm going to explain why not. The mystery has been resolved. And then there is a possible shot. It's on source 2 only. I'm not clear. It's very distant. A lot of people have listened to it with me, and they've said it sounds like a shot, but we have no further confirmation for that. So we're leaving that as just a big mystery for later. And then finally, the last shot here, shot 10, at 15.794 seconds after the first one. All the sources agree, and that's the Secret Service sniper. I'm pretty sure this missing shot here, what we're calling shot 9, this is the ESU shooter taking a shot at Crooks. So if that's true, and they hit him, and I believe they did, then it raises a lot of questions we have to answer, such as why isn't that on the timeline, and why are we not talking about that, and why are Christopher Wray and then the former director of the Secret Service, Cheadle, who, thanks to investigations like this, I think felt too much pressure, and I'm thankful for everybody who's put pressure on, who just said this is BS right from the get-go. And that came from a lot of angles, right? Obviously, the site was mismanaged, and how the assets were arranged, and the big Pac-Man hole missing. There's so many unexplained things that obviously this wasn't just a comprehensive failure. This was something much more than that. And now we're adding up the data to do that. But this is why it's so important. We have to stick to the data right now, because as we do that, it's going to force the investigation to have to include that data. Otherwise, they'll come to their conclusions, and later we'll put the data back on, but it's already been pre-concluded. First to the gun matters here, so we're going to force them to have to account for the information and the data that we're surfacing here. All right, so these are all the shots here in sequence. So this is taken from source number 2. Again, this is the best recording we've got from the audience. So this is the audience member that's between Trump and the AGR buildings where the shots came from. We can clearly see shots 1, 2, and 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and here's shot 9. And by the way, I'm going to sort of give a little foreshadowing. Do you notice how shot 1 has a very different sort of a height, different amplitude? It just looks smaller and weaker over there. And it is smaller and weaker over there. These are both stronger and have stronger echoes, with an echo being out here. This is also included with voices, so it's not totally clear from just staring at it. But shot 1 has a very different characteristic and sound and echo characteristic than any of the others. So we'll look at that and look at what we think that means. All right, going back now from source 1, we're at Trump's mic. This is very important just to establish this. This is shot 1. This is the bullet. This is its supersonic trace. We hear that. That's the one that went past his ear right there. And then 0.220 seconds later, we get report 1. The gunshot sound actually arrives at the mic. And the reason for that, again, is because the bullet and the sound leave the barrel at the same time, but the bullet's the hare and the sound is the tortoise. And the hare gets there much before the tortoise in this race story, so that's why you hear the bullet first and then the sound of the gun. So if you were, gross, but if you were being shot by a sniper, the bullet hits you way before you hear a sound to identify, let you know that a shot is coming in. It's like slap, in that order. So that's what we see, and it's perfect. Shot 1 with the report. Then shot 2 comes in with a report. At 0.21 seconds is a gap between these two pieces right here. This could be telling, but it's well within the margin of error. It would suggest that this gun was just a little further away because it took the sound from the gun a little bit longer to get to the microphone than it did the bullet. So we are going to need much more careful analysis on this. But if that's true, then it would also explain that potentially report one is from a very different weapon because it's slightly further away. But we don't know, because it could be that the factory standard cheapo ammo that Crooks was using has a variance that accounts for all of that, because, you know, the bullets are
where President Trump was standing and was shot. That's the spot right there. That's the building right behind me. Where Crooks was. You can see how close it is.
This card with talking points about the vice president and the border. Do you know who's handing this out?
I have no idea. You probably should ask her campaign.
So the first one says Vice President Harris was never appointed border czar. There's never been such a position. It doesn't exist. Why are Democrats so sensitive about the vice president and the border?
Why are Republicans so sensitive about actually not owning up to them getting in the way of a border deal? Why? Why won't they own up to that? Why won't they own up to the last president told them not to move forward? It was a bipartisan deal on just right there, available to them, and they voted twice against it. Twice against it. Why are they so sensitive to moving forward and actually dealing on an issue that majority of Americans care about, is dealing with what's going on at the border?
Do you think that the border would be less of a talking point now if there was less migration to the border? Say, if somebody had addressed root causes of migration sooner?
Wait, hold on a second. Did you not hear the beginning of I know there were a lot of toppers, but one of the toppers, I talked about what we're seeing at the border. It's down by 55%, not because of Republicans in Congress and what they did. It's because of what this president and this vice president did. He moved forward and took actions to deal with what's going on at the border. Republicans continue to block getting resources to the Border Patrol agents. They continue to block actually dealing with an immigration system. So yes, we are going to debunk the false characterization of the vice president. She was not a border czar, and it's not just us. Independent fact checkers have said the same thing, that did not exist, and that is not true.
And a different topic, Russia and China. Are you getting sense yet, based on everything that's been going on, that some of America's enemies might be looking at what's happening here and think there's nobody in charge?
So let me just say this. There is very much someone in charge. The president is the president until the end of his term. So that statement is certainly false. And we have seen the president bring together our allies and partners. He reinvigorated NATO. He got more than 50 countries behind Ukraine to make sure that they were able to defend themselves against Putin. He stood up to Putin, and he's done a lot more. And now, right now, as we're speaking, I believe it's still happening, the president is having a bilateral conversation meeting with the Prime Minister of Israel. So, who, by the way, the Prime Minister of Israel thanked the president for the work that he's been able to do in helping to make sure that Israel is able to have an ironclad security, right? And so that's that. But let me be clear. I want to actually address the basis of your question outside of saying there's no leadership. Our Department of Defense did not see this activity in Alaska Air Defense Identification Zone as a threat. North American Aerospace Defense Command, NORAD, continues to monitor PRC and Russian activity near North America and to meet presence with presence. U.S. and Canadian aircraft detected, tracked, and intercepted the Russian and PRC aircraft, and more broadly, the U.S. remains concerned about the PRC and Russian collaboration across all instruments of national power that do not promote global stability and security, not just in the Arctic, but the president, if anything, if you look at his foreign policy objectives and what he's been able to do and what the last administration did, the last administration ruined our relationships with our partners and allies. This president had to fix that and make sure that we actually mended our relationship with our partners and allies. And that's what we've been able to do. And a perfect example is what we're seeing with Ukraine being able to defend itself against Russia's aggression. Okay.
Director of National Intelligence came out publicly and said that we do.
And your vote is your power. So please make
And on these last two issues,
sure your voice.
Where President Trump was standing, right there.
That's where it was shot. Guys, it's a kill box, is what it is. It's a kill box. And according to all of our sources, these roofs over here, the roof over there, none of that had any security on it. There were open rooftops in every direction. Slightly longer distances, but for a trained professional who can shoot, easy work.
That's how close we were.
Right there.